So I am making my black and white bean stew. I already have just the beans, some black and white beans that I cooked in the pressure cooker. I took some out because I had 2 bags. I took some out to save for salads and other things, and then I left about half of it in. Only spices that I have in there now are Mexican Fiesta. I'm about to put a small can, which is like 6 ounces of tomato paste. And as you can see, I just shake it in there, open both sides, and shake it down, and it slides right down. So that's the next thing that I add. And the tomato paste is really something that's tasty. Each tablespoon has 20 milligrams of sodium naturally. The only ingredients in here are organic tomatoes, and then naturally derived citric acid, so like lemon, lime, added to it. There's no salt added to that tomato paste. This is the good base for making this stew. Learned that through Chef AJ and how she makes stews, adding tomato paste in there to give it flavor. Also, Dr. Furman does that. He adds tomatoes or tomato paste, and that gives it a natural kind of tangy, little salty taste without adding any salt and having too much sodium in there, and is really healthy. So I'm going to be adding more things and just putting all these clips together, and hopefully that will help with questions that people have on making this bean stew that I have in my book. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some sweet potatoes to the instant pot pressure cooker that I have, and I've chopped them up. Usually I like to have pre-cooked potatoes, sweet potatoes, but I did not have any more left, so that would have made it easier for me. So literally took me about 3 minutes to just chop them up so that they can cook a little bit better with the rest of the ingredients. So what I'm gonna do is just add them in, since I'm using one hand because I don't have a camera stand with me at the moment. I'm just scooping them up. I don't have any orange flesh sweet potatoes today. What I do have are the Hannah yams, the Hannah sweet potatoes, and the inside is yellow flesh, and the Japanese sweet potatoes that the outside, the skin is a reddish purplish, and then the inside is a whitish flesh. And they're both very, very sweet, tasty, and it just it makes for a very delicious stew. So I'm just adding it in, and I've already added in the corn. I've already added in frozen broccoli, frozen organic corn kernels. I added a couple of dates, the small ones. And so for the whole pot, it might be 5 to 6 dates for the entire pot, which is a lot. Well, the pot is big, but the amount of dates is not a lot. Is not a lot per serving. I usually add beets. I'm out of beets. As I'm doing this recording, I actually have one of the food delivery services coming, and they're doing the shopping for me now. As a matter of fact, I've gotten a couple of messages just of what things are there. The person checked to see that I really want 30 bananas. Yes, I did, because we tend to freeze them, use them to make frozen ice cream, and then the kids use them for oatmeal. My husband eats bananas, good in potassium and all kinds of good things, good for the blood pressure, and they're tasty. So maybe the beets might come in time. They're already pre-cooked, and then I would just add to this. And I may add a little bit more liquid. I will also be adding a little bit of spinach to this, because I really get this to be to the top, like at the line that it says to do it. So the only other seasonings that I put in here besides the Mexican Fiesta that I showed you guys, I use garlic powder, onion powder, this Cajun seasoning. All of the Cajun seasoning in the Mexican Fiesta is by Frontier. These are some of my, I have some more behind this other this rice cooker. I have more SOS-free seasonings inside of this cabinet. I've got a couple. I use the tandoori, seasoning. I used the paprika as well. I use smoked paprika. I think that's about all for the seasonings and of course the nutritional yeast. So just adding all of those is helpful. And then I just put it back in. The beans of course are already cooked. After I add the final few ingredients, which is going to be the spinach, then maybe a little bit more liquid if I need to. It is really, really thick because I'm going to have it come right to the line that they say is the limit. And then I'm going to put this on maybe for another 20 minutes. And hopefully that will get the sweet potatoes to be cooked well. If not, I'm going to add another 10 minutes. And then basically that's it. Pretty quick and simple to make this bean stew. It's delicious. We're going to have some for dinner. And I'm also going to have some for my lunch tomorrow. So I can't believe I almost forgot one very special ingredient. I buy these mushrooms. I get them from Whole Foods. They're mixed mushrooms. And what I do is just add some to this stews. It's easier. If I have fresh ones, then it's easy. I can chop them. But mushrooms tend to go bad very easily. So I always have at least 1 or 2 bags of these mixed mushrooms that are frozen. And I just add some to the stew because, again, I really work at following Dr. Furman's G-bombs, green beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. And I'll get at least the mushroom parts in here. I got the beans, greens, I got the onions, berries and seeds. The only thing I don't have in there are berries and seeds. And the seeds could be flax seeds. We can add to it afterwards, you know, in each of our bowls. And then, hey, maybe we'll have some of the banana ice cream. I have some frozen and add some berries to it. So we'll have all our G-bombs, you know, right at dinner. So I'm going to add some of these in. Added a little bit more. I have some shredded carrots that were in the refrigerator. So that, see, all these things are already prepared. Makes it easier. I added some of that, and I added some fresh spinach. As you can see, this is full. This cannot take any more. I just put it all the way up to the limit because I just want to have this big pot of stew. So I'm going to mix this up. The carrots, the shredded carrots are really going to make this stew even more delicious. It's going to give it a nice flavor. The spinach also is going to help. A lot of people who kind of want that, you know, a little bit of salty flavor. Tomatoes and spinach have natural sodium. No salt in there, but natural sodium. So your body needs that. And it's natural, and it's not going to increase your blood pressure. As a matter of fact, it's going to help your blood pressure, besides being yummy. So this is it. I don't think I can add any more. Or I'm always testing the limits. You know, I might have a little bit of space to add more carrots. Yeah, I think, yeah, I got like a ½ inch. I could play with a little bit more. Add a little bit more onions to it. And then that's it, I promise. And that's it. And so I have this big pot, as you can see, that's going to be full, and it's going to be so good. I might add a picture of it if I remember when we're going to eat it when it's done. So what I'm going to do is get the pressure cooker back on, put it on the ceiling, make sure it's sealed, and I'm going to do manual. And I'm just going to put it for 20 minutes. I may have to add more, but at least that's what I do, manual 20. I've already cooked the beans, like I said. So that's done. And it's just everything else that's going to cook it, and we'll see. It's back on. If I need to add again, I usually add it maybe another 10 or 15 minutes. We'll get to pressure again, and then everything should be cooked well. So basically that is the plain and simple thing to doing the bean stew. And if you don't have a pressure cooker, you can always just do it on the stove. That's how I used to do it before I had any pressure cookers at all, is I would cook the beans ahead of time, or if I didn't have time to make the dried beans, I would just use box or canned beans. So it's possible to do this without a pressure cooker. Obviously with a pressure cooker it's going to be a little bit faster, so I like the convenience of that. I think it's a good investment to get, you know, at least one pressure cooker, but you can still do this on the stove. So hope this was helpful for anyone who has been thinking about how do I make it. Some people have asked me that. I've included the bean stew recipe in my book, but like I said, it's simple. It's not even like a major recipe. It's just adding all these vegetables with the cooked beans, tomato paste, your spices, and that's it. I like to keep it pretty simple, and it just makes it easier. And I'm almost done. I'm here with my younger daughter, Nini. She likes to watch me cook and sometimes helps me. Sometimes she helps scrubs the sweet potatoes for me. She's a good helper to me. So she's hanging out in the background there with me in the kitchen and asking me, was I gonna make the kale chips that once in a while I do make. I include it as a bonus recipe in the book because it's really easy the way we do it. But not today. I don't have enough of the kale, and I also need to do some batch making of my special sauce. All right, take care.